So I guess coming back, Delta Center has been a good place for y'all to play most recently, coming back after a win. The momentum, I guess, how do you bring that into a game against Calgary?
Yeah, I think we know where they are and where we are. I think it's that next game mentality and a chance to play at home in front of our fans. We've had a lot of success in the last month here, so I think just coming in and playing confident at home and trying to get a win.
And in this series against Calgary, you guys are 2-0-0. What gives you guys confidence about playing this team?
Yeah, I think it's just confidence in ourselves and knowing that we got a good team in this room, and if we play the right way, then we're hard for anyone to beat. So I think just at the end of the day, coming down to that and making sure we stay positive and stay as a group and believe in ourselves because of the success we've had in the past versus them.
What do you feel like the big takeaway was from that most recent road trip in terms of this team, where the maturity is and the growth that you guys are seeing?
Yeah, I think you're seeing there's still a little bit of maturity in the room that we need to grow into, and we battled hard versus Florida. It's probably a game that we felt like we could have won, and then we take care of business in Chicago. That first game in Tampa, something that we can't afford to do and something that we're learning from, and that's just something that as a young team and a team that's kind of finding their own is learning how to kind of stop the bleeding in a game like that and reset in the intermission.
I saw you having a conversation out there with Lars, the skating coach from Tucson. What's your relationship like with him? I know he's up here for a short period of time.
Yeah, we've been together for probably 4 or 5 years since I was drafted now and worked together quite a bit. I think that was something as a kid that they put a lot of emphasis on, was making sure that I was ready to go skating-wise. And we had a lot of long sessions together during the past couple of years, so it's nice to kind of see him up here and get to talk to him and still pick his brain and see what I need to do better. And I think we'll have a video session at some point this week to find more ways to get speed.
And as far as the biggest takeaway from your time with him and the biggest learning lesson, what's the thing that you think you've taken away most from those sessions?
Yeah, I think having confidence in my skating ability and trusting it. He made sure that I knew that it was just a matter of time before I got strong enough to where my stride could kind of be where it is now. And I think just trusting my ability, and he's the main reason I have that trust is because he gave me an opportunity to do that.
I like to layer.
But yeah, he's been awesome and someone that has allowed me to kind of become who I am today.
First, no change in the lineup. Same lineup, same line, same pairing. Unless only matter will be game time decision, so we'll figure that out at game time. To start, I wanna address a little bit our fans and through you guys. You ask me a lot about the load management of Veg. I want to do a little exercise with you. I will ask the question. Do you believe we can win the Stanley Cup with Veg? Do you believe we can win yeah?
Eventually, maybe.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So if we expect to win the Stanley Cup with him, let's say, how many games that will take, you think, in the playoff? There's 4 rounds, 6 games per round, let's say, 24 game. So he's at 18 in a row. So if we get in the playoff, we get in a run, we're in the semifinal on game 6, and I tell you, we'll load management Veg. We'll play the backup tonight. How will you assess my decision?
Very poorly.
Very poorly, exactly. So we're fighting for our life every night, and you want us to not put our best lineup on the ice? That makes no sense. We are in the playoff. We are in our Stanley Cup run. We are fighting to get the right to play game number 83. So if we were in any other situation, that makes sense. But eventually, Veg, if we get in that run where we aspire to win the Stanley Cup and we aspire Veg to be a huge part of it, we'll have to play 20-odd game in a row. And at some point, it is what it is. And it's the same thing for Sergachev. It's the same thing for Keller or any other iron guy. Load management in our league is 2 shifts less per game for those guys. It's not 2 more days. It's practice day, take a day off. It's having more maintenance day, which we do with Veg. The one who were on the trip you saw, Veg was not at the practice, and whatever we were, we had Hank was there for him. So it's important for me to share that with our fans because there's a lot of I've been asked a lot about load management and stuff like that, but we're fighting for our life every night. If one day we aspire to win the Stanley Cup with Veg in the net, he will play 20 odd games in a row. So that's let's say it's a repetition for the big moment. There we go. Now I'm all yours.
For Logan Cooley, away from his play on the ice, how have you seen him kind of grow personally, friendships in the locker room this year, just feeling more comfortable in an NHL locker room?
Oh yeah, well, first of all, he's a really good guy. I think he's well liked by his teammate, and I think the other thing the guys respect a lot is how competitive he is. And all of those guys been there. In the sense they've been a young guys, they've been a superstar in junior or in college, and having those reality check when you get to the pro and then realize, oh, okay, it's a little bit different. So all those guys been there. So when Cool's had those reaction, the guys, they just knew that was a normal path, and he grew. He's way more mature than he was. So I think his behavior in the group and his compete level is super well liked by the group.
We've obviously seen how Vejmelka has responded on the ice to so many starts around. How have the conversations been? How has he verbally responded when you've, let him know, hey, you're going to net again?
I don't let him know. I will let him know when he will not. No, it's a joke. But, the conversation is fluid in terms of what's important for us is the energy level. So every day for practice, every day how you feel when you wake up, how's your body feel, what kind of maintenance he needs, term of therapy or so on and so forth. So it's fluid, it's consistent. We knew a couple games ago at the end of our last homestand, he was a little bit tired. We knew that. He told us. That's where we laid off on practice. We laid off on practice time, that kind of a stuff. And when we got to, unfortunately, didn't play a lot of minutes in Tampa, and when we got in Florida, he told us he was feeling great. He was great. Same thing in Chicago, and same thing this morning. So we think we're up par right now. He's feeling great.
I'm just curious what kind of input you've gotten from Corey Schwab on this. I know he's started Darcy Kemper the same amount of games a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he played with Marty Brother, so he knows exactly what it is to have a guy who plays 70-plus game a year. So I think having that experience and that championship experience from Schwabi, it's huge. I think he saw it from the inside. He can relate to the backup as well of how it is to prepare yourself in those kind of situations, and as well, he's been in those shoes, a guy who play a lot of minutes. So I think it's huge, and Schwabi has tremendous relationship with his goalie. So we know the message we got is the right one, is the truth. It's not a fake message. We know exactly what's going on, and we're honest in our conversation.
How has the way the back end has played or not played in some games kind of helped Vejmelka be able to stay in net for this long? Just the tandem between the defenseman and him right now.
Yeah, that's. I think for most part we've been really stingy defensively. That helped. But that said, help doesn't make it easy. It helped, but we try to be as stingy as possible. And in order to win game, you want to be good defensively. We don't succeed every night, but I think he came up big when we had a little less. Our performance was not as good. I think Veggie covered for us, but the other way around is true as well. If you look, example, last game we played here against Detroit, we gave a 5-shot after 2. So in terms of load management, that's the best way to do it. Unfortunately, we could not sustain for 3 periods, but that for sure helped.
Coach, just on that idea of load management, is it to get guys ready for a Stanley Cup run?
Yeah.
Like that. Is the best way to do it through real game experience, or is there stuff you can build stamina to outside of the regular season?
No, it's like stress. It's when it's not the same stress. Whatever you do, it's like a study for an exam. Okay, you can ask someone to ask a quick question, and you have a little of stress. But when you arrive at the exam and you have 60 questions in 60 minutes, oh boy, okay, now it's game on. And now the stress is real, and there's no other way than going through it. And I think what we're going through right now, we say that all the time. The age of our team, we're second youngest team in the league, and what we're going through, it's super important for us to soak it in. We want to prevail. We will get it out. It's a huge game for us tonight. That's what's important. But at the end of the day, we need to learn from every moment, every failure, every success, every way we felt mentally, physically down that stretch will be really useful down the road.
Calgary played a heavy game against Colorado. I think they had like 50 hits or something like that, and their fourth line changed the game in the third. How do you plan to handle that physicality and that fourth group with guys like Lomberg and Klapka?
Yeah, they will have to handle our fourth line, who made the difference in our last game as well. So I think they're I'm not stressed about the depth of any team in the NHL for that matter. I think we have depth, and we have guys that are committed, and I have ton of respect for Calgary, the way they run their program and the way they played all season long. And especially if you look at the last 2 weeks, number of comeback they made in the third period to get points here and there. So we know, and they're desperate as much as we are. Every point matter, every game matters. So that will be a hell of a game.